it kept me thinking, like, would I ever, if somebody is like crying and saying, please stop what you're doing, like, would I ever want to continue what I'm doing if somebody is doing that? And I felt like I would just like feel so guilty. And that exact feeling, that was lacking in him. He never felt guilt, he never felt remorse, he never felt like, oh, I'm so sorry for making you cry, or I'm so sorry for making you feel so down. It was like he felt he had the right to abuse me and hurt me like that. And that was when I felt like something really important is lacking in this person. He didn't have empathy.
Narcissists blame others for what's happening to them, for their misbehavior, for their defeats, misfortune, etc., etc. They never take responsibility. They never assume guilt or blame. They are always the victimized party. So they believe it, and it is this inner conviction that shines through. The narcissist, when the narcissist claims that he's a victim, he doesn't come across as though he's acting, because he is not acting. He truly believes he's a victim.
I saw that he only had these type of feelings of empathy when it was about him, like when his feelings were hurt. So for instance, when after he had abused me, I didn't want to see him for a while. And to him, that was really painful. So he didn't have like this action-reaction feeling. He would always leave out the action. So he would always leave out the abuse. Also in the stories that he would tell people, he would never tell about abuse. He would always tell about, oh, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she doesn't want to see me anymore. And I think he didn't register. I think that's what empathy is. You register somebody else's pain or the hurt you cause in another person. He couldn't do that. He couldn't feel like, oh, this woman is crying and begging me to stop because I hurt her so much. I should stop now. He didn't have that.
You can't approach these people that have this thing like they are normal human beings, because you expect, if you're in a relationship with anybody, that there's a certain level of empathy and you know, and when that's not there, don't pretend to think that these people think the same way as you do. This is one thing that for me is like the core of this whole thing. That if you're in a relationship with somebody like that, because you have empathy, you think that the other person has that as well. And so when you think about the other person, you think with that perspective. But when that empathy is lacking, these people are programmed differently. So you can never have the thoughts that you have about what's normal. They don't have it, so don't project that on them.
Psychopaths lack conscience and empathy. That may also go for people with narcissistic personality disorder, but it may not apply in sufficient measure for some narcissists to be able to say that they are also psychopaths, and that they lack a foundation completely. And their foundation inside may be weakened, but it may not altogether be absent or insignificant. The percentage of people who have a personality disorder is estimated around 10% of the population. I estimate that around 5% of the population also has psychopathy.
She had a small son, and whenever there was something wrong with the son, I would be the one to take care of that. She wouldn't be able to relate to him, or so it was so blatant with her. She could see it so clearly that she missed that empathy, that she couldn't act like she did. So she would just full out say it, I don't give a shit about anything or anybody. So that's different than other people that have this. She didn't have those acting skills in that sense, no.
My ex was really good at acting. Whenever I was sick, he sounded so nice on the phone, saying that he would cook for me and take care of me. But when he came over, he expected me to be better, and he would be very annoyed if I wasn't. Even when I was puking or when I had fever, he would scream at me and wouldn't let me sleep all night. And this wasn't just one time. This happened so many times that whenever I got sick, I told him to stay away. Because he didn't only make me more sick, he also took away my son's mother. Because my ex, well, he would go home and he would sleep. But I had to take care of my son, being even more sick than I was before. And I think the problem with these people is that they are so good with this acting and coming off as empathetic that it takes a while to understand what's going on. Especially, well, in my case at least, when he was playing victim afterwards. I have stepped over a lot of my own feelings because he triggered my empathy towards him. But, well, of course, a person who has empathy doesn't do these things.